Okay, since this is the last session of the day, I'm going to try and keep it a little interesting and engaging. So I want to have a quick question first with the audience so that wake everyone up. Who all here have subscribed to the Indian Express? Show of hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that 4. Okay. So that itself highlights the struggle that we are having, which is building loyalty through subscriptions, right? I think where subscription programs work, who all here have a Zomato Gold membership? Okay, quite a few. See, so when it comes to things like food and maybe airline points, subscriptions work, but otherwise it's a struggle. And here I have Ishan, who is building, brand, who was the director of brand and creative at CashKaro. And CashKaro, of course, as most of you know, helps with a lot of reward points and helps you get discounts on various platforms. But Ishan, I'd like to ask you, despite so many investments in various MarTech tools that are there, why is it that there's still a struggle when it comes to building loyalty programs? It can vary from field to field.
So see, CashKaro is an organization that is a loyalty program in its own, right? So we don't have loyalty programs. We are an organization. Our business is loyalty program, wherein when you shop via CashKaro, you get a certain cashback across your Amazon, Flipkarts, and Mintras of the world, and you transfer it back to your bank account. Now that's like a big loyalty reason, a big reason for anybody to stay loyal to our platform. But having said that, I think the struggle is not with the program. The struggle is with the loss of emotion in the loyalty program. I mean, imagine you break up with your girlfriend and your boyfriend also if the relationship is transactional, right? You're like, yeah, this is not working out. It's too toxic for me. That's exactly how it works for the brands, right? So if we don't put in emotion in our, let's say, in our push notification, in our emails, or in a loyalty program, or the communication that goes for a loyalty program, it's set to fail. And especially in today's market, if I get 10 WhatsApp messages to hook me to a loyalty program of any of the D2C brands, it all sounds the same, right? It's the same chat GPT language, there's the same dashes, everything is the same, right? And to top it up, it's more like, it's very untargeted as well. So when you take that kind of an approach, a non-emotional, non-humanized kind of approach, who am I loyal to, right? I can't be loyal to a transactional, emotionless person, right? Similarly, I can't be loyal to a transactional, emotionless brand. So I think the dehumanizing because of extensive data-driven approach or the extensive AI in the country that people are using is probably one of the reasons why we don't get loyalty in the subscription models or in loyalty programs.
And it's probably also, and correct me if I'm wrong, because we inherently as Indians are always looking for the bigger, better deal, right? We're also looking for something cheaper. Today I'm flying Indigo and perhaps getting a cheaper ticket. Tomorrow I find a cheaper ticket on Air India, I'd probably take that. But yes, I probably will have one frequent flyer program running. But again, I may not be loyal to that brand. I might just quickly jump, right? So is it also because of the bigger, better deal that loyalty is a struggle here, where even if somebody else has got a deeper discount, I will still stick with one brand?
Personally, I do. I mean, I know कि Zomato में शायद idli or a roll is a little more expensive than Swiggy, and I know that, but I still order it via Zomato. Why? Certain things, it's an entire journey. It's a user journey that creates the loyalty, right? So Zomato's hooked me on in terms of UI UX. Zomato's hooked me on in terms of the kind of communication that they send to me. Zomato's hooked me with whatever offer, even if it's like something like up to 50% off, but like $75 off, right? That's okay, right? But I feel so connected to the brand that eventually I end up spending more with it. as consumers, the market is divided into, I would say, deal hunters. उनकी कोई loyalty नहीं होती है, right? They are like, कहीं से जो मिला मैं उठा लूँगा and all of that. It's easy to penetrate into that consumer, but then that is a set of consumer that you can't rely on. Then there is a set of consumer who might not need, it might not make a difference if the discount goes up from a 20% to a 25%. For them, then the loyalty comes in first. So the market is basically divided into these two. And I don't know, I mean, it depends. For some brands, upsell, cross-sell is important, yes, of course. For us, upselling, cross-selling is important. But at what cost? Right? So, yeah, so, I mean, if I have to conclude this, then yes, we do look at good deals, but we also look at how the other brand is treating us.
Right. So, and as you mentioned, it's also about, how the user experiences with the brand. You mentioned, you still will stick with a Zomato instead of a Swiggy because you find the user experience better over there, right? But this may be only in certain categories of products. Maybe something like a credit card. I don't know how many people really use the reward points that they get in credit cards. And many of these reward points, when you have to redeem them, they're actually fairly worthless unless you just use it to pay back some portion of your credit card. Right? That said, now because of the connected ecosystem that we live in and because of the data that we have, it's possible to keep these loyalty programs running because you know a lot about your customer. At the same time, does all this data collection, is it being used effectively right now? Because even at CashKaro, you probably have a lot of cross-sell that happens between you.
Yeah, so see, I don't know, I mean, somehow over the last 5 years, things have changed from let's convert this person to let's just get the data, right? So a lot of companies are getting a lot of data. They are sitting on an entire pile of data, but the question is how effectively do they use it, right? Do they really study the data very well? I'll give you a little example. So I recently bought a face wash, and a week later they send me the same face wash again, and they say you'll get a 20% off on it. Now the thing is कि एक हफ्ते में मेरा face wash तो नहीं खत्म होगा, right? So that means they are sitting on that pile of data, but then they are not effectively targeting or segmenting the data to approach. Whereas we at CashKaro, we definitely have segmented our data. It's still under a lot of process. And this is an everyday process. Every day new consumers are going to come in. Every day the consumer behaviors are going to change. Today I'm buying sunscreen. The data will say I'm a female. Tomorrow I'm buying, let's say, a shirt, menswear. The data will say I'm a man. Now the data is confused. आप उसको कैसे करोगे? So there are various things, right? Now, am I going to send them an email because the data suggests that I'm a female, right? And send me all the female brands? Or am I going to send an email to someone like me and repitch a different brand's sunscreen maybe, right? So how we utilize that data, that is important. And how do we interact with them at a personalization level? The panelists before me spoke about personalization, but I think we are caught in that rut of, hi Ishan, hi Roshun. ठीक है, मतलब मेरा नाम कितनी बार भी ले लो तुम, but that's really not going to convert me, right? Yeah. 10, 20 people call me Ishan every day. It's the level after that. How personalized you get with that data and the data pool that you have.
Right. I mean, and some brands, maybe e-commerce brands do this pretty effectively. They track your shopping habits, right? And especially if you bought something that is that you'll be using frequently, they track how many times you've reordered that product, and then probably every 2 weeks or so you get a notification for the same product again, saying perhaps it's time to reorder this product. Perhaps it's time to reorder this product. So that to some extent works. But do you think all this collection of data and this AI-driven system of highlighting who the customer may be is actually leading to a kind of dehumanization of the customer, and which is why you have this problem with loyalty, because the customer doesn't see it as something personal to him?
Um, yes, we have become very tech humanized now. See, when I started my career, I'll tell you a little story here. My first job, on-site job, was there is a soap brand called Godrej Number One, right? And I was sent to the tier 3 villages, somewhere in UP, close to Meerut, and our job was to sort of run canters and reach the right target audience. तब डेटा था नहीं, there was no data pool. We just knew कि tier 3 में लोग ये खरीदेंगे because it's an affordable sabun, right? So that's a humanized thought. We went there and we figured out, okay, soap hai, who's going to influence the soap buying behavior at home. All of these were humanized approach. Now with data, let's say I'm watching TV and there's an ad that plays, but I'm not there. So, but the data will say that I watched that ad, right? But I didn't watch that ad. So I definitely become the wrong target then. क्योंकि मैंने देखा ही नहीं वो, आप मुझे जितनी रीटारगेटिंग करूँ मेरा रिकॉल ही नहीं आएगा. So it's useless, it's pointless. So I think keeping the human touch through and through, whether it's data led, whether it's whatever, that is important. Use all the AIs in the world, but just don't blindly use them, right? MarTech is definitely, it is absolutely the best thing right now, but mindlessly using MarTech is definitely dangerous. So, and then you end up losing your customers, right? So humanized, and nobody wants to talk to a robot. I mean, we all read news, you know, that this guy has got a girlfriend who's a robot. There was recently a movie of Kriti Sanon being a robot and he madly falls in love. But point is, who wants to be with a robot? So humanize, and India runs on emotions, right? India doesn't run on, every 10 kilometers, our emotion changes, people change, language change, the geography changes, the culture changes. कितना डेटा के भरोसे आप चलोगे, right? In Gurgaon, I am also consuming Zomato. There is also a Tao with a different culture consuming Zomato, right? But your data says कि ये कि इंसान है, मतलब इंसान है, human guy, right? But then your approach should change. So that's the course. So yeah, nobody wants to talk to a robot.
Yeah.
That's
So coming back to subscriptions, I mean there are so many loyalty programs now for every product. It could be something as like, for example, you mentioned soap. Now in today's day and age, even FMCG company would probably try and send you a WhatsApp message after that saying thank you for buying our shampoo, thank you for buying our soap, and then engage with you on WhatsApp. But this is a very low involvement category, I would think, right? In such a situation, how do you build lifetime value for a customer? Maybe he subscribed to your product once, but how do you keep him engaged there?
You keep in touch with him, with what he wants to see. He doesn't want you to send a 20% off or a 10% off on a daily basis. Maybe he wants you to just send you like, hi Ishan, how are you doing today? I have no offers for you, but we just remembered you, right? And that's what makes the difference. Maybe they want us, the brands want to pitch in a 20% off or a 30% off deal. But instead what they choose to do is they send a birthday wish. Right? And that helps you recall, ki, oh yes, I shopped on CashKaro, they've sent me a birthday wish, let me go back and explore it, right? It's that little difference, like, again, I'll quote a relationship only. Guys, I have not gone through a breakup, I'm not going through a bad relationship, but it's a very relatable thing to talk, because we all are in some kind of relationships. So in a relationships, it's about, that little care that your partner gives you. Right? You come back home, he or she is going to ask you, baby, how was your day? Right? Or you come back home and he or she asks you, I hope you did not fight with your boss. It's a little thing that matters. And imagine if you come back home and your partner asks you, कि आज shopping तो नहीं कराया तुमने मुझे, right? So what's going to impact you more? That little emotion. So it's important for brands to send 10 messages, engage the user with all your discounts, everything. But also remember, you need to take care of that person,
Right.
right? So yeah.
So if I was to ask you for some examples of, say, maybe 3 brands that come to mind that have done this kind of personalization well and have therefore had very effective MarTech as well as, subscription programs, what would be the top 3 brands that come to your mind?
Zomato definitely, Indian. Apple. We all say I'm a Mac user, right? तुम कुछ भी कर लो, मैं आईफोन से नहीं मूव करूँगा. That is loyalty hard. उसने कुछ नहीं किया वो करने के लिए. उसने सिर्फ अपना UI, अपना design, Steve Jobs had put in an emotion. He did all of that. He didn't say that I'm going to give you an Apple at 50% off. That wouldn't work for him. But we still say I'm a Mac user, I'm a proud Mac user. So second is Apple. And the third, surprisingly, I've just recently downloaded an app. I don't use it, I downloaded it because it's sort of a semi-competition for my brand. It's called Gifter. They have very interesting notifications that they do. I signed up, not used it. They are not marketing crazily, or they're not running after me like a madman, but they're subtly putting in 2 notifications on my phone, and it's actually good. So I went back to my team and I said, "Ki, you all need to download that app and see how does it make you feel." मैंने अभी तक कुछ transact नहीं किया, वो लगा हुआ है मुझे impress करने में. I'm yet to accept the proposal, right? But I'm already impressed, right? एक दिन होगा कभी तो हसीना मान जाएगी, right? तो उनका वो approach है, and that's interesting, So yeah, so Zomato, Gifter, and Apple are going to be 3 brands who are cracking it.
Okay, interesting that you mentioned Apple because, I think when it comes to the tech ecosystem, there's very fierce loyalty there. Apple user, always an Apple user. Samsung user, always a Samsung user. So it's very difficult to make people change over there. So what according to you is that core element? It's, I think, beyond an emotion there. It's probably even a use case that's kind of kept them hooked to the brand.
नहीं, ऐसा क्या है जो एप्पल कर सकता है और सैमसंग नहीं कर सकता? सैमसंग ज़्यादा कर सकता है. So I don't think so it's a use case or a tech thing or thing of offers, etc., or what the product has to offer in terms of features and all of that. I think it's more about the connect that the brands have made. It's more about how they've made themselves a brand. And by the way, it's very difficult to convert an Apple user. Samsung वाला फिर भी एक बार Apple आके वापस चाहे Samsung चला जाए, but वो cheating तो करता है थोड़ा सा. And I've had it in my friends group as well. But yes, I think these brands have, for them, for a tech product, it's more about the UI UX. It's more about the ease of using that product. And eventually when you start using it, because you start using, especially in case of Apple and Samsung, you start using gadgets at an early age, so you progressively get habitual to it, right? And that's what defines it. And then the brand keeps in touch with you, right? So you're an Apple user, hello, happy birthday. I'm not giving you any discount, but I'm there. I'm still there for you. I'm going to be around. And yeah, I think that's what makes the difference.
And on that note, I would think if I was to give advice to an insurance company, for example, where I think loyalty is very, very limited because you're always looking for the bigger, better deal there, and they only remember you when it's time for renewal of premiums. How would you fix something like that?
If you remember, 20 years back, people were very loyal to their insurance companies, and then came aggregators, right? So insurance has not ruined its loyalty. It's the aggregators and the rush and the bull run for customer acquisition, mindlessly going after people to acquire because there is a lot of competition. That has ruined the loyalty. But insurance पे loyalty अभी भी नहीं रहेगी till the time you don't use it, right? If it's a medical insurance, God forbid anybody uses it, there's no point being loyal to it. You will look for a better price because you're spending that money for that entire year. You will look for better services versus the cost, and you'll take the decision till the time you haven't availed the services. I might avail an XYZ insurance service, might not like it, वो बंदा आया ही नहीं, मुझे अपने जेब से medical insurance, medical का पैसा देना पड़ा, I'll not go back to it again.
Right, right. And since we're always out of time, I just one last key takeaway for our audience. How, according to you, what's that secret sauce to building loyalty in a subscription program?
इंसान होना नहीं भूलना चाहिए. Don't forget that you're humans, and don't forget whatever tech you're using, your consumer is still a human being and not a robot, right? So be mindful, fall in love with your consumer, spend time with your consumer. I party with people from 18 years of age to 50, 60 years of age, only so I can understand their psyche, spend a lot of time with them. I talk random things to them, only just to know what my consumer wants. And that's my human approach. So never forget to be human. Be human, no matter how much AI tech comes back, and they're here to make things easier. A robot is going to clean my floor at home, but still, if a maid or a house help needs money and a job, I would want to help that person. So being human is, oh, that sounds very Salman Khan, but yes, being human is the key to the perfect loyalty and subscriptions.
Right. Or like Bruce Springsteen said, don't forget the human touch.
Don't forget the human touch, yes.
On that note, thank you, Ishan. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, sure.
So with the coming of this Data Protection Act, means, say for example, Jio, an example, Jio mobile phone, they have the millions of data of their subscribers. And if tomorrow if the Jio wants to use the same data to promote its retail to the same customers, with the coming of this DP Act, will the companies be barred from misuse? I mean, from using data otherwise stored for one separate purpose to be used for their own but separate purpose? Will the companies be barred from using such?
See, I wouldn't comment on the regulations. I mean, the regulations are definitely good for the country and our data privacy. But I'm sure the organizations are intelligent enough to collect data at different points for different purposes, right? So Ishan Agarwal could be on the Jio system with different products, and that's how you see why Jio is expanding into everything possible. Right? Let's say, since you picked Jio as an example, I don't use a Jio SIM, but Jio's got me with its, with the television. Yeah, so I use a Jio. So he knows I'm his customer, right? Tomorrow, Jio's going to open up a retail store, right? In competition to all the Zaras of the world or whatever it is. Reliance has got all the big brands. RBL has all the big brands. So, these big conglomerates, collect the same data at different points. So I don't think so it's going to be ever a problem for them, because we are there in multiple data sets procured from multiple touch points. And, but yes, but if an organization definitely collects a particular data with one intention and then misuses it, that's definitely not the right approach.
And I think that will be sorted when the DPDP DAC comes out.
Absolutely.
So thanks, Ishan.
Thank you.
Thank you.